Hello guys and welcome to a brand new video. Today I'm here with Tomo-chan is a girl episode number 2 reaction. Okay, the previous episode, it was the beginning of this show and yeah, it started in a very good way. We got to meet the main characters Tomo and Junjiro, I think that was his name. While one of the other characters who is both of their mutual friend, childhood friend, her name was Gundo, I think. It's something like that. And yeah, we met these characters. We got to see the whole situation where Junshiro doesn't see Tomo as a girl because they were like friends from the beginning, from very when they were all when they were like childhood friends, and how Tomo wants Junshiro to see her like that, but she cannot really change her personality, and he has completely brozoned her, all that stuff. But little as we went on in the episode, we kind of got the impression that Junshiro does see her as a girl, but he probably doesn't really express that, and he probably just hides it or something like that. That's the impression that I got. Either way, yeah, and we also saw his and Gundo's relationship, where Gundo and both of them kind of has this type of a spiteful relationship with each other. He just shoved Gundo out into the rain when she was teasing him, and multiple times we saw that, and these type of things. It was a great start, and yeah, can't wait to see where this goes. And I've said this in the previous episode, but I have actually read the first few first portion, not first portion, but the first, I think, like the 1/3 of the manga I've actually read. I don't remember much stuff, but there's one character that I'm really looking forward to being introduced. Probably this episode will introduce that character. I'm not exactly sure. Let's see. Either way, let us get started. Episode number 2. So yeah, I'll be putting the subtitles in the timer here. Sync it to whichever is your preference, and let's get started. All right, here's the countdown. 3, 2, 1, go. All right. All right. She's the best. Oh boy. Oh, it's the opening. Oh, okay, let's see. What the hell? Oh my god. Damn, it's so many different dresses. There. Okay, it's a very catchy opening song. This is a very catchy opening song. Oh yeah, we heard this in the previous episode, I remember. We did not see the visuals, so okay, yeah, yeah. Wait, one thing, I did not know this. Tomo is voice acted by Rie Tak. No, I think like the same character who voice acted Megumin, Rie Takahashi, isn't it? I was like baffled. I was like, what the hell? Like, it doesn't sound anything like her. Like, that's how different she made her voice here. Impressive. Oh my god, stop. What the hell? Dude. Oh boy. Uh, he probably realized. Okay. Yep. What? Oh my god. Hmm. 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 Oh my god. That that's what he. Ah. Oh no, she'll be. Oh boy. Nah. Yeah. The way she changed her. Oh. Well, him. Oh my god, stop. Well, he wants, because he wants the. Oh god, what? Well, uh, yeah, like I was saying, he. Mm, well, yeah, obviously. What? Oh god. Ugh, okay. Oh yeah, that's true. No, she is wearing the tights or whatever you call it. I don't know what you call it. Oh. Okay, that'll be, yeah. Well, exactly. Wait, you did she really not know that? Did she think everyone is wearing the tights or something? Oh boy, God, Misuzu is here. Oh my God! Wow. Is she telling the truth? Yeah, probably. Oh. Oh my God. He decided not to, oh boy, press the matter. He's not looking at her. Oh my God. Wait, why is there a bowl in the middle? Oh, Yeah, he's keeping an eye out now. Wow. Junichiro vision. Oh boy. Because, yeah, because of that. Oh no. Oh my god. Uh. Hmm. Yeah. Well, that is why he. Oh boy. Uh. Well, it went pretty interestingly. Oh. Oh my god. He dropped like a pro. Oh god, here we go. She's going to. Oh my god, she's again doing that. Yeah, well, he's a person who would probably do that. Oh my god. There you go. Nice. She's just having fun in her own way. School idol. School idol. Okay. This was the character I was talking about. I'll talk about her later in the discussion section. She's a wild character, my god. Okay. Bruh, not necessarily. I don't know. Premium feel. Well, personality, yep. Knocked out. Is she going to try to cotton candy? Oh, this guy. What was his name? Misaki, yeah. Cotton candy. Hmm. Oh yeah, both of their eyes. Wait, what? Oh yeah, this was the thing in the. What? Oh no, she's like, oh, I don't remember you. She's a little stressed. Oh boy, here we go. Well, the, well, obviously she wouldn't realize that. The way she's looking at him. Oh my god. Oh boy, she just directly. 322 cake. Wow. Defeat? Probably. How can I use this girl? Uh, oh no, she's going to ask like tell about June. Oh, hey yo, what the hell? Where is she? Is she in the locker? Yeah. Alright, here we go. She's going to. Oh my god. No. Month. What? You don't know? Okay. Yeah, look at her. Well, Mrs. knew what she was doing. Oh boy. Yep. But she's tired. Oh my god. Well, it'll take more than a month. Oh my god. She's not even paying attention and just. Wow. Nope. What can you do? That's a good question, you know. Oh, okay. What? Sure, his face. Oh my god. Neck exercise. When the enemy comes. Yeah. She's strong. Just training her. Oh my god, I feel like she's going to real. Yup, she realized. Thankfully, she's not. Hmm. Okay. Whoa! Oh yeah, she's rich, isn't she? Probably not. Oh. Oh no, that's kind of, don't know why. Well, good news. Mrs. also has only one friend, two friend. Doesn't matter. Exactly, that's why. But nice. Oh boy, what the? Hmm. Oh no. Oh, I thought she was going to think that it's about June or something. Oh my god. Wow. Like an angel. Well, that was a compliment. Nice compliment. Yeah. Yeah, well, oh. Here we go. Well, there you go. Yeah, I do remember this section in the manga where he tells her about the whole. Oh boy. This is the ending, alright. Okay. It's an interesting ending. Okay, that's it, I think. Yep. All right. So that was episode number two. Now, like I was saying, this is the character I was waiting for to be introduced because she is a very wild character. Like, I remember reading the manga, and there was like some panels that, oh my god, it was outrageous. She does some crazy things. From this episode, you probably were able to see, like, just randomly appearing anywhere, with that, like, that face, like that was that, like, that weirdly smiling face. She says one of the most outrageous things, like, I remember with that smiling face, she just says some crazy stuff, and it'll probably come later on in the anime episodes. Like, you're gonna see how much of an eccentric this girl is, and I was waiting for her. I was kind of curious which person is, like, which voice actor is going to voice act her. Like, I had this, like, mental in my head, had this mental voice in my head where I was like, I thought that, oh, her voice actor will probably be someone like this, and by the voice acting I can say that, yeah, it's probably something similar. Like, her voice acting is pretty nice. For now, I like it, and I'm kind of really looking forward to the more of the things that she's going to do in the future. She does some crazy stuff, and that face, like, with that smiling face, she says some crazy stuff, and I'm really looking forward to that. But either way, there you go. I think most of the all the main characters have been introduced, and I don't think there are any other main characters. These four are the only ones, and obviously the main supporting characters are also there, but the story will revolve around these four. So there you go. From the next episode onwards, we're going to see more, like, more stuff, more shenanigans and everything. But either way, there you go. Carol, yeah, that's her name. Carol has been introduced, and in the ending section, that section where Jun says, like, oh, I went out with Misuzu for oh, I forgot, didn't I tell you? I went out with Misuzu for like, before that part. Obviously, I knew it. I've read that part of the manga, and like I said, most of the parts I've forgotten. However, this was one crazy, like, revelation. That's why I still remember it. That's why, I was not surprised at hearing him say that. But either way, there you go. All right, this episode. So it begins with the bus, but yeah, the bus thing, like, where Tomo sits, Jun sits, and Jun is like, oh, sit down, Tomo, and Tomo gets embarrassed, and being so embarrassed, she, like, gets up, and then obviously then that whole thing with the groper, that incident happens, and she, like, this. I didn't remember this part actually, and I'm like, what the hell? This is how this episode starts, and yeah, and he obviously, like, like, Tobo wasn't able to say, like, it out loud now because she was scared, like, I'm not, like, scared into thinking that, oh, what will June think or something like that, and like, obviously Tomo is strong enough to beat up that guy on her own. She can probably just, like, stop him and say, like, what the hell are you doing? But this is the thing, like, most of the times people get too scared about what other people might think, and here in this situation, it was not other people but what June will think, like, who's in front of him, even though it's not her fault. The person who is doing it, that's the person who is at fault here, most of the time this is probably what happens, and that is why, like, even though, like, people might have the courage to stand up and say that, oh, what the hell are you doing, stop this, even though they might have the power to do that, they still decide not to do it because they think about what other people will think, and how they'll look at her, like, that type of situation probably overwhelms them, and they're not able to, you know not able to stand up for themselves and say, like, oh, stop it, like, what are you doing, and they just keep tolerating it, and the person who is doing it gets away scot-free. So that was what was exactly happening here. She was like, oh, what's June going to think? But thankfully June, like, kept, like, kind of realized what was going on, and he got up, grabbed the guy, and handed him over to the police. And there you go. Now, here obviously June, when they were going back, Jin says like, "Oh, Tomo, like you know what you should do? You should stop wearing skirts." And this is something that he told him from like his own concern, obviously. But Tomo here obviously misunderstands. He's like, she next day she goes to Misuzu and she's like, the first thing she's like, oh, like like this happened, and Misuzu like got concerned. She's like, oh, is everything okay? Like, can you take him to the police? Like, what happened? And Tomo's like, oh, everything's fine. June took care of it, and she kind of got a relief. And then she's like, all right, what were you talking about him? And here Tomo talks about how June has said that, okay, where's that part? Yeah, we see she punched him after that, after he said that. And she's saying, oh, just when I thought he was finally treating me like a girl. Okay, so Misuzu always says what I was thinking as well. I was like, oh, he's saying that because he's concerned about it. And that's exactly what Misuzu says here, that if you think about the circumstances, he may have said it because he doesn't want you getting groped again. And Jun is like, eh? Not Jun, sorry, Tomo. And she's like, you mean he was thinking about me that way? And Misuzu's like, I'm sorry, that was an irresponsible thing to say. Now, here's the thing. Yeah, obviously, that was what he was probably thinking at that moment. And Tomo doesn't realize it. Now, in the previous episode, I was just saying that, oh, how, obviously, June does realize his feelings, probably. Like, he does like her. But at the same time, he is a little bit dense, Like, if you've seen him, a little bit dense. This episode kind of proves that not only June is dense, but Tomo's also dense to a certain degree. Like, they're not completely dense, however, they're dense to a certain degree. Like, and that is why Tomo here is like, oh, like, obviously not. Because she thinks in her head, she's like, oh, in no way is June ever going to think of me that way. Like, that's like the whole thing. That's why the fact that he might have told her to stop wearing skirts because she was concerned about him, he was concerned about her, doesn't even cross her mind. And she's like, oh, that June? Obviously not. And it's like a it's like a thing that she has always like already made up her mind on. She's like, yeah, obviously June is not going to say something like that because he's concerned about me or something like that. So anyways, she is also kind of dense, but here Misuzu's like, all right, you know what, first of all, you should change your, like, you should, what June said, it's kind of something that you need to, like, you need to do actually, because the way you're wearing a skirt is not how people wear skirts. Like, she says your skirt is first of all very short. Not only that, you're wearing those, I'm not sure what you call them, those tight, things underneath. And she's like, yeah, like, that you need to change. I love the fact that Tomo's like, wait a minute, like, then what am I supposed to do? And Mrs. like, you don't wear anything underneath, you just wear your underwear and that's it. And Tomo's like, what? she never really knew that means. So, oh my god, did she like think that everyone's wearing those tight, like, things underneath? Is that what she thought? She's like, oh, that's the kind of girl you are. But anyways, so Misuzu forced her to, like, wear a normal underwear and, like, like that's tight, like, like that thing, to remove that. And Misuzu goes to June, and she's like, oh, she's waiting for you. At first, June is very, like, like, not really interested in talking to her. As soon as she talks about Tomo, he's like, oh, really? Okay. And he's just very happy again, just goes downstairs, and yeah, she sees Tomo, without the tight, like, things. And immediately moves his head, like, obviously, like, it's the first time he's seeing her like that. And obviously Tomo is misunderstanding. Like I said, she is a little bit dense, she thinks that he's deliberately not looking at her or something. While Junjiro is just just, what can I say, embarrassed to look at her because he's never really seen her like that before, ever. So they get in the bus, and obviously Junichiro, with his Junichiro vision, is just looking at everyone and getting paranoid if everyone's looking at Tomo or something. So he's like just staring at them so that they don't look in this direction. Anyways, like, and then when they're walking back, he's walking in front of her so that he doesn't look at her. And Tomo's not understanding, obviously. Tomo thinks that he's just being a jerk, because she is dense. Obviously, she doesn't realize that. This is so funny. She wants Jun to look at her, but what can I say? This is like a weird scenario. Like, she wants Jun to look at her, but the reason why she's so dense and she doesn't understand whenever Jun is getting embarrassed or like actually paying attention to her is because she has never been treated that way. It's so, what can I say, ironical that the thing that she wants, she's not understanding whenever Jun looks at her like that because she's inexperienced. And it's as if what can I say, what's that word, she wants to see Jun treating her like a girl, but whenever Jun does that, she doesn't understand it because Jun has never treated her as a girl. Like, if you know what I mean. Like, this is like a cycle. Which is such a funny scenario. So it's a weird thing, like, so I don't know how this is going to ever be resolved. Like, even if Jun treats her like a girl, she would never realize it because she's never seen that type of Jun before. You know what, I feel like probably little by little she'll realize, because obviously this is the first time she's actually seeing Jun kind of act like this towards her. So it's probably not registering in her head. Like, little by little she'll probably realize that, oh, maybe this is what's going on, Jun's actually embarrassed or something. But either way, obviously the same thing happens here. She doesn't understand that Jun is actually walking in front of her because he's embarrassed. He doesn't want to look at her like that. And she just thinks that he's just being a jerk, and she's like, oh, what the hell are you doing, Jun? Why are you not looking at me? And just grabs him, and conveniently at that moment the wind blows, and Jun goes unconscious completely. And Jun says here that, I'm sorry, Tomo, I shouldn't have said yesterday, you should, the what you wear, that's up to you, I shouldn't have said that. And here, Tomo does kind of realize that she's probably treating her like a girl, and she's happy, she's like, oh, this is kind of fun, But the next day, Misuzu asks her what happened, and she's like, oh, Junichiro, didn't really react that much. And later on, he just fell down, became unconscious. And Misuzu had a good laugh. And I knew what was going to happen as soon as I saw her, little by little going towards Jun, and I knew that she was going to start teasing him, and she's like, it's unusual for you to avoid Tomo for half a day. I guess it will take a while for you to reset this time, huh? And she's teasing him, obviously, because that's what makes her happy. She just loves this. Like, anything related to Tomo, she's obviously concerned about Tomo, but all the time, she said in the previous episode, she was like, the only person allowed to have fun with Tomo and Jun is me. She loves that, and that is why as soon as this happened, she went to Jun, and she's like just teasing him, gloating on him, And obviously we know what Jun does immediately. He flicks his finger on his. I love the fact that she kind of looks at him, and she's like, go on, try, and within she doesn't even finish her words. He snaps his finger. Anyways, later on, Jun is like, all right, you know what, enough is enough, let me become normal again. Goes towards Tomo and just grabs her shoulders, and he's like, oh, what are you doing, Tomo? And tries to act normal again. And there you go. Now the next part, Carol is introduced, and here we go. Like I said, this is the character I was waiting for to be introduced, because she is one of the most eccentric characters in this show. And this is barely the start. In this episode, you probably saw how eccentric she is, And this is actually going to even become more and more as episodes go on. You'll see how eccentric she is. She says some crazy stuff with a smile in her face, and that's actually so funny. It's so funny. I remember, like, reading the manga and just laughing out loud whenever a few of her panels came in front, and the things that she does and says is just hilarious. uh Anyways, I found it funny. I found it extremely funny. But like, yeah, let's see. So Carol gets introduced. Carol is here, and she is, wait a minute, as far as I could remember, she's a, probably not, I'm forgetting, is she like a foreigner? She must be, shouldn't, isn't she? Like, she has like blonde hair and everything. I'm not exactly sure, but anyways, she she comes in, and Tomo realizes that she's like one of the most popular girls here, and Tomo's like, how do I become like her? And Mrs. is like, first, like, put the dumbbell down. Anyways, okay, so Misuzu is, sorry, not Misuzu, sorry. Yeah, Misuzu, sorry. Misuzu says that it's probably because she is defenseless. That aura, like, it probably makes her like this, like, more approachable and everything. So Tomo's like, what the hell? Like, like, defenseless? I could easily knock her out. She's like, what the hell? Is that all you think about, knocking people out? But anyways, she goes outside. I love the fact that she calls her cotton candy, because that's exactly what she is. Like, I feel like, like, the visual representation, or if you had to give like her personality like an actual like, like a thing, like, a kind of compare it to an actual thing, Cal's personality is actually cotton candy, like, just fluffy and floating around, that type of thing. So basically, she is an airhead who just is completely says some outrageous things, and and like, Tomo calls her cotton candy girl or whatever. And now next we get to see that Misaki senpai is there with Carol, and okay, he says that they're like distant relatives or something. Yeah, and Carol is like, when Misaki says that we've been friends from since we're little, we're childhood friends, and she's like, oh, we are engaged, and Misaki's like, oh yeah, we are kind of engaged. It had been discussed, I guess. And Carol is like, oh, we've already been married. And like I said, she says some crazy stuff. Misaki's like, no, it's just, we just played together. That's it. Okay, now this part is funny because they were talking. Carol was not really paying that much attention, but then I think Carol says here, like, Carol kind of looks at her and then says that, yeah, Tomo says that, oh, don't you remember me? And Carol is like, I don't know, I'm not interested in boys in our class. Now here's the thing, she actually didn't realize she was a girl, so that's why she thought that this was a boy, and that's why she was not really that much, like, looking at her, concerned about that situation. But then Tomo's like, oh, what the hell are you saying? I'm a girl. And then it slowly dawns on Carol what is going on here. She's like, wait, you're a girl? And then she looks at Misaki, and then she's like, oh my god, yeah. She designates her as her enemy and starts poking her cheek. And starts with that, like, that nonchalant face, that blank face. She's just, like, time after time coming to Tomo and just calling her a dummy. Mrs. is like, oh, you don't realize why she... Oh, so Mrs. did not know who she was, so she asked Tomo, and Tomo told the whole situation. Mrs. is like, alright, yeah, you are a dummy. And next we get to see she's waiting on top of Mrs.'s desk in the in the Seiza position. Oh boy. And Mrs. was like, okay, now here Mrs. was like, wait a minute, I can probably use this situation, because at first she was like, oh, you know what, like, I'm actually Tomo's friend, so I won't be able to help you out if you want to, like, go against her or something. But then she's like, oh, I'm going to give you cake. And she's like, all right, let's hear it. And then she kind of realizes, like, wait a minute, I can use this thing as an opportunity to kind of make like, the situation between Jun and Tomo a little bit more interesting. So she's like, all right, you know what, I can probably direct you to someone who will be better at this. Directs her towards Jun. And yeah, she's actually waiting in Jun's locker. Like I said, she does some crazy stuff. Now Carol is then like, oh, I'm actually like, I need to fight someone, not fight someone, but what does she say? I need to defeat someone. Yeah. And Jun is like, obviously Jun thought that she's talking about fighting someone, so he's like, okay, you know what, at first, wait a minute, at first he was like, okay, he says that, all right, so I'm like kind of trying to find something to do, to spend some time, like I'm a little bit bored, so I'll help you out. First he says like, oh, punch me. Puts on his hand, she punches him on the face, but it was so slow and so like, without any power, that he's like, okay, like you can, a kitten can probably beat you up, but don't, not to worry, 1 month, give me 1 month time, I'll make you so strong that you can beat a bear. Wow, that's crazy. And Carol is like, okay, sure. And then they start their training. Next day, it was probably next day or probably later on, that Jun is calling her for training, and Tomo sees that, and obviously this is exactly what Misuzu wanted. So Misuzu is kind of riles up the situation. Misuzu's like, oh, who knows what they're doing, like maybe she likes him or something. Like, all these things she says, and Tomo gets more concerned. While over there, Jun is doing the physical training with Carol. Carol can't do anything. She runs a few, like, like steps, and she's just like, oh, I cannot. Later on in the like in the gym, she is not able to do a sit-up, not able to do a push-up, nothing. So Chun is like, what can you do? And she's like, I can do skipping, I can skip on a rope because I love bunnies. Some crazy thing. All right, and then obviously that whole scene where she's jumping, like, and Jun is keeping her eyes is away from her, because because I probably can, what I'm trying to say here. And yeah, Tomo comes in and sees them in that situation. Obviously she misunderstands, she gets pissed off. Now here's one thing happened. She gets pissed off, grabs Jun. And now this part, I'm pretty sure, like, at first I kind of found this a little bit confusing, but now I can understand what actually happened here. I found it confusing because I thought, why did Carol suddenly just decide to make Tomo her friend, and decide to forget about the whole rivalry thing? Now I realized what happened here is, like, when Tomo was grabbing Jun and she was getting mad at him, Carol was looking at it, and Carol realized that what Misuzu was trying to say. Misuzu said that just stick to him and you'll find out in no time. She realized that what's her name? Tomo likes Jun, and as soon as she realized that whole situation with Misaki is just a false flag. No problem over there. I love how Mrs. said, assuming you're not a total idiot, because in these animes, half of the characters are actual dense characters, so that's why Mrs. is like, yeah, you know what, if you're not a dense character like half of the characters in this show, then yeah, you'll probably understand what's going on. Oh boy. And Carol realizes, and Carol was like, all right, you know what, I have no reason to continue this rivalry, because clearly Tomo is interested in Jun, and the whole thing with Misuzu is just a false flag. It won't be a problem. That's why she's like, oh, I lost. And then she's like, oh, Tomo-chan, like, I'm not your enemy anymore now, and then she just leaves. So there you go. Now next we get to see she talked about her, like, treating her cake, Mrs. So Carol has called her in, and we can see that she's quite rich, like the limousine and everything with the people, the, like, the butler or whatever. And like, and Carol is like treating her to food, cake, and she says like, oh, I want a friend. And she says how she has never had friends. And Mrs. says that then you should talk to Tomo, because Tomo is someone who, who won't really like, she's like too much of a nice person. She won't let you, like, like, go away and say that, yeah, she'll probably definitely become your friend. And next we see how Cal goes towards Tomo and says like, oh, can we become friends? And there was a little bit of a flashback where we saw how, like, other people really didn't, become friends with her and kind of kept distance from her. Now the reason why she was kind of avoided, I'm guessing, was like, I feel like there's like two reasons why she was probably avoided up until now and no one become her friends. Not two, multiple reasons. The first one is probably because she's rich, like she's rich and has those, like, the car and those people on in black suits, like, coming out and everything. I'm pretty sure a lot of students up until now are probably intimidated, like, seeing what was going on. So that probably made them keep their distance from her. Number one. Number two, as we saw, she is a type of person who just says what comes in her mouth. So she says some extremely rude stuff, like, which usually people never really tell the other person, even though, they think it in their head. Whatever she thinks, she just blurts it out. She's that type of a person. And that's why I'm saying, like, later on you'll see most, like, scenarios where she says some crazy outrageous stuff with a very blank face in her, like, blank face, and that makes the situation so much more comedic. And that's why I'm guessing that's another reason why people probably kept distance with her, because she just blurts out everything. And number three, obviously because of her, what can I say, like, that eccentric personality. Like, these are the reasons I think that she, like, students probably kept their distance from her, because this is a thing, like, the only time when you can be that frank and open with your friends is when you are good friends with other. If you become friends with someone and you just blurt out everything that you think in front of them, and like, try to be extremely honest with them, I don't think it's going to work out. Like, that's the harsh truth. Like, this is the thing. I feel like to become friends with other people, at first you need to keep a little bit of a, I would, what's that word, a little bit of a, like, like a, like, you need to be nice, like, nicer than you actually are, like, be more, like, friendly and everything, and become friends. When you meet strangers, that's how you kind of become, like, like, kind of, what can I say, like, start a conversation and start becoming friends. Now, little by little, as time goes on and on, and you get more comfortable with each other, then is the time when you actually, like, open up and become the person that you are. And if they're able to accept you like that, then that's a true friend. And I think this is how it goes, because I feel like I don't know, like, being your true self with someone who you never really know that much, and just starting like that, it's kind of very difficult, unless and until the other person is extremely, what can I say, chill and just very casual, they'll probably not be able to accept you. Here, however, Tomo is like that. Tomo is extremely chill, even if Carol says some rude things to her and just becomes, like, like, does whatever that comes in her mind, Tomo will probably not really mind much. She'll probably get pissed off and start screaming, but that will be it. She will still be her friend. However, that's not usually how it goes. If this was some other person, they'd probably be, like, like, I don't know, offended, and they'll later on probably not be your friend anymore. Like, that's how it usually goes. That's what I'm trying to say here. Like, there's a very limited amount of people who are able to accept you the way you are from the get-go. And that is why, I feel like the best way to make friends is just, at least at the beginning, kind of try to be a little bit more, I don't know, respectful, and I don't know, like, a bit more friendly. And then little by little, like, actually, like, if you actually think that, oh, this is actually a good person and I want to be friends with that person, then little by little you become, when you get more comfortable with the other person, That's when you actually, like, kind of become more real, like, kind of show them your actual, what can I say, like, like, kind of be more open with them, something like that. I don't know, like, what I'm saying, but that's what I'm trying to say here. Like, Karen is a different type of a person. She's extremely honest, extremely, like, whatever comes in her head, she just blurts out. And I think that's probably what made people avoid her up until now. And yeah, Tomo is a different type of person. She accepts everyone. And even though Carol is like that, Tomo really doesn't mind. And that is why I think, Tomo and Carol's friendship is probably something that was meant to be, because Carol could say anything, and Tomo would probably not mind. She'll obviously get angry at the beginning, but she'll not really take it to heart. That's the type of person she is. And I'm pretty sure Mrs. also realized that. That's why she was like, oh, like, you go to Tomo. Like, she's so good, she's so nice that she accepts everyone. That's what she said. And that's what happened here, like, when we got to see Cal kind of thinking in her head that, oh, up until now nobody really accepted me, and then we get that little flashback, and when she extends her hand, Tom was like, yeah, sure, why not, yeah, you're my friend from now on then. And just like that, and Tom, like, Cal was so surprised. Cal was like, oh my god, this is an angel. And she's like, oh, you're Tomo the angel, just like an angel. And then she later on says like, oh, Mrs., you're also my friend. Mrs. like, yeah, sure, you're rich, so yeah, that'll that'll work out. And there you go. And later on we get to see Carol and Mrs. were just, Carol is just trying to hug Mrs. and Mrs. just putting her hand like this. That was funny. Anyways, June and Tomo is outside, and here's where the crazy stuff happens. June looks at that scene, and June says like, oh, it's crazy how they're both are so good friends now. And then he says that, oh, like, yeah, it does make sense, because Mrs. is apparently kind of popular. Mrs. and Cal both are popular with guys. And here Tomo says like, yeah, they're both cute and girly, I guess. Jun says, is that so? Well, not that I'm in any place to say much about Gundo. Tomo at first is like, wait, what? What are you saying? You have a thing for Misuzu? And he's like, hell no. We went out for a while in middle school, right? And then he's like, wait a minute. You don't know that, don't you? And Tomo's like, what are you saying? I never knew that. And that's where it ended. Crazy timing they ended it. That was a cliffhanger to the people who have not read the manga and doesn't know what exactly happened. And it's nothing really serious. Like, you'll realize it in the next episode. But the way they ended it over there was kind of funny. Anyways, yeah, so there you go. And that was this episode. Yeah, it's going kind of like, in a very nice space. And yeah, we get to meet Carol here, and they both became all of them became friends. And there you go, all the main characters have been introduced, I think. So now all that's left is for the story to kind of progress, and I'm looking forward to this, because there's a lot of funny, like, funny situations in this anime. I'm looking forward to them. Either ways, and that was it, and that was my reaction to episode number 2 of Tomo-chan is a Girl. If you guys enjoyed this video, be sure to press the like button and subscribe if you're new to the channel, or you haven't subscribed. Comment down below anything you want to say, anything you want to let me know, and I'll check them out. That is it, guys. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys next week with another episode of Tomo-chan is a Girl. Until then, goodbye and have a nice day.